Ayatollah Khamenei is no longer living. He has been taken out. And we're going to talk about that and how it came about. So, my friends, here's what happened. The United States and Israel have been conducting joint strikes, and in the course of these, the very first thing they did, the very first attack was upon Ayatollah Khamenei's uh, offices, his office complex. He was hit hard and hit fast. So what they didn't want to do was to signal him to run and hide. So they hit him first. He was the first to get the hit because they didn't want him to take cover, to run to a bunker. And the interesting thing is they timed these attacks according to when they discovered that he was meeting with his inner circle. So they were able to take him out and a lot of other leaders in one fell swoop. Not only that, they actually sent in 30 cruise missiles, 30 bombs hitting his office complex all at once. The entire facility, all the buildings were totally obliterated. And then they hit the Parliament building, which took out, and Parliament was in session. So it's thought that they may have taken out every swinging member of the Iranian Parliament. They also got the commander of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps in this strike. And it looks like they got the president of Iran because it seems the vice president is running the country right now. On top of that, the IRGC, we got a super chat already. The IRGC is hey, Chris Snaper, thank you, salute to you, and definitely that'll go to the coffee fund. The IRGC is actually in the process of trying. Well, they got a constitutional crisis because the IRGC is trying to elect a new supreme leader without the Ayatollahs doing it, because it's supposed to be the Ayatollahs that do that, but apparently they can't get them together. They're having a leadership crisis. But as I've mentioned before, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard is not as top down. They have a lot of regional power, more so than a lot of countries like that, a lot of autocratic countries. So, and they are pervasive throughout Iran. And that's how Iran has been launching this big missile strike that they've been putting out upon everybody else. In fact, Iran has struck 6 Gulf state nations in this combat, 6, including Saudi Arabia. And these attacks are going on right now. They are the first attacks look like they were probably using their cheaper missiles, and they've been stepping up their better stuff. It's been argued that what they're trying to do is to actually cause us to go through our interceptors first to get our interceptor counts down, and then use their more advanced stuff. So they've hit us with several waves. The last wave was a little better, the missiles, than what they sent previously, but not their top line MERV warheads. Oh, we got another super chat. Let me see who this comes from. Oh, we got hey CC. Good to see you. C5, C5. All right. So family's coming in the house real fast here. So guys, this is incredible what's going on over there. But it was a brilliant stroke to hit them when they hit them. Now, these attacks were announced as preemptive attacks on Iran from the get-go, and that really wasn't explained until lately. What's come out about that is that, at least from our side, it has been announced that they had intel that Iran was about to launch preemptive strikes. So they preempted the preempt. But here's the other funny thing about the whole attack. Everybody knew that Donald John Trump gave them essentially, 10 to 15 days. He hit them on day 9. I'll tell you about the art of war. You don't hit people when you say you're going to do it. And that's why I don't have a lot of faith in this whole thing that China is really setting up to go to 2027. Like I've been saying for a long time, they're not going to tell you when they're going to do it. So when they announce to the world, we're going to be ready by 2027, then that's got to be deception. That's why we got to be worried about China moving on Taiwan. Now, we'll get into that in a little bit because that's related to this very much. So we will come back to that topic. Uh, but it's kind of like Donald Trump said 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 2, fire. No 1-0. So that's kind of like what it looks like, you know. But then again, they kind of did that with the in a sense with the at the end of the 12-day war when we went in and struck their nuclear facilities with the B-2s because we were apparently still in some order of negotiations with them. So apparently, Trump got tired of all the delays. Iran never had any intention to giving up the things that Trump was asking for, and indeed, they probably knew they wouldn't, especially when if Trump originally was just wanting to do a nuclear deal. That was his original thing. Bibi Netanyahu ran to Washington to convince him to add the proxies and the missile forces into it. And I've explained in the past why Iran was not going to do it. It was giving up every last leg of defense they had, so they weren't going to negotiate that. And we pretty much knew that to start with. And I probably the Trump administration knew it, even though they're saying, I don't know why they're not capitulating. I can't understand it. Well, maybe if they really knew what was coming at them, they might have done that. And another thing, I showed something that's really odd. I showed a picture when I was going through the last video of this bright glowing orb. It turns out this bright glow, and it appeared just before the attack started. Turns out this thing kind of has a habit of appearing before the U.S. attacks anybody. What is that thing? Do we have some off the table technology that's not been announced? And we've kind of talked about that a little bit on my Galactic Greats channel a few times. So we might have some very interesting technology at our fingertips, and maybe we're just showing it. I don't think that's being put to full use if it is what I think it might be. Maybe we're holding that back for China. So look out, China. Anyway, we still got to get back to this China discussion, my friends. I'll look at the chat room after I get through this news salvo that we got coming at you here. So I'm going to go through a bunch of articles. I got my whole browser tabs just filled up, and I hope that Starlink's stable tonight. It actually went down on me a little bit while I was trying to put all this stuff together, and that might cause my video to drop out. It dropped out so long. Broadcast before last, I had to come back with a take two. So if I do go out, I will come back. Just trust that. If I do go out, I will be back here again. I will do a take two. We got 118 in the house. Very good. There will be a take two video if I come out before it. If I don't say Greg out, I'm not done. Y'all know that. So that's where we're going. My friends, if this whole scenario has been another amazing show of American military might, American military technology. But there is some questions already come. Oh, we're getting a super chat. Hey, Chris Sniper, appreciate that. TR3B. Well, TR3B is triangular. Just appears to be an orb. So, we may have a couple of undisclosed technologies. If you watch my Green Galactic Greats channels, I've discussed that a little bit over there. I'm going to go into that again. I'm going to go in a little bit more detail about it in the near future. So what's come out now is, well, that hasn't come up, not that. But one thing that has been suggested by one of the main news services is that they think we're already running low on interceptors. Now, I know that Dan Raising Cane said we had about 2 weeks worth, but there are a lot of missiles getting through. There are hits occurring in these 6 countries. There are hits occurring on our military bases. Our military bases are being hit. Israel's getting some hits. Some things are slipping through. There's a lot of intercepts coming, but some things are slipping through. Damage has been done. So we'll talk about that, and we'll go through some of the articles on that. So just be aware, and we've got to be aware of things that might go down here at home, sleeper cells. So there's a lot to be aware of right now, a lot to think about. Let's hope that our interceptors last through the conflict. Those are crucial. But, when they're throwing so many missiles at you, if you get saturated, it's just hard to deal with everything. even when you have interceptors. And if we run out of interceptors, God help us. But again, we have the best military in the world. And one of the things that's really interesting is China sending this big advanced radar system. And they had it in Venezuela. They put it in Iran. The Chinese radar system is supposed to be able to detect any and every drone, any and every stealth fighter. And actually, turns out they do have a capability to detect stealth fighters. You know how they detect stealth fighters? They will absolutely tell you there's a stealth fighter around. Here's how they do it. They go, boom. So when that radar system goes boom, there's a stealth fighter around somewhere. You just don't know exactly where. But they're pretty good at detecting stealth fighters just by going boom. So China, watch out. Watch out, China. Your stuff is not what you think it is. Now you got a second example of seeing how well your detection system works. And yeah, it does work. It just goes boom. So not much to be bragging. Hey, we got Rainbow Food Rocks in the house tonight. How you doing? So we're going to try to get through this stuff. I'm going to show you some articles. I wanted to go live this morning. I had some stuff. I wanted to come out early with this announcement, but I had a neighbor visiting from who's got the property next to me. He's usually in Phoenix. He only comes up about once every quarter or 6 months, it seems like. And he wanted to see me this morning. So I did that, ran some errands, come back, and I was a zombie. And so I've just now caught my second win, to be honest. And I didn't know if I was going to be able to pull it off, but I've read something like 100 articles today. So I'm going to bring you guys the highlights of, a couple dozen articles out of all the others I've read. So good to see you. Good to see you. All right. Well, I'll go through the chat room after I get through the main news. So we'll hit the news first. The people that watch in the morning, my coffee club members getting ready to go to church or wherever else they're heading. So for that, we're going to go and do some share screens. Oh, yeah. One other thing I want to point out before going to that. In my humble opinion, we're not putting boots on the ground. I had thought, there's been some talk we might do some Maduro type exercises to help decapitate the leadership over there, putting maybe 1 to 10,000 troops on the ground, like Maduro on steroids, the helicopters going in, special forces. That might still happen. But I think in the speech that Donald Trump gave us on this attack after it started, I think what he said made it kind of clear that that's not, at least we're not going to do a ground invasion, and maybe not even that, because basically he left it to the people of Iran to take over. He says, we're going to, do these decapitation strikes. We'll do what we can, but it's up to you to take over the government at that point. He says, it's yours for the taking. So I think he's relying on them. That would probably help if we parachuted in some pallets of M16s or whatever, the M4s or whatever they're using now, something to give the Iranians something to snap back with, because the RGC, I think Iran's the case study for why you need the right to bear arms, because when only the government has the bang bangs, you're the one getting banged. And, we saw that happen to the protesters, and it was horrific. Not only that, once the protesters were wounded with the hospitals, the RGC was going into hospitals and taking the wounded people out. It was heinous. It was really, truly heinous what happened and how it happened over there in that regard. So, guys, we're going to go through this, but that was awful. Now, I'm not sitting here. Look, I'm against war in general, but if it's preemptive, then you got to defend yourself. That's the bottom line. And I know the Iranian people are actually real happy about this. And then one other thing, somebody left a comment after my last live stream where I talked about this, and they go, "Greg, why were you laughing?" I was laughing when I was playing the videos on X of the local Iranians laughing when they were seeing the bombs drop around them. Some of them were actually laughing, or some of them were cheering. But some of them were actually laughing. And the other thing that made me laugh was that how nonchalant these people were. They had explosions going on behind them, buildings being blown up, and they were just walking around casually like nothing was going on, like just any day on the street. They weren't even running. They didn't look panicked. Someone riding their motorcycles around or scooters, driving their cars, reading their papers. And I was like, just look over the shoulder to see the mushroom clouds rise from the explosions. Okay. And it was so nonchalant. It was like surreal to me. I couldn't imagine that here. If something like that happens here, people will be scatting. They're going to be running and panicking and over there. No, that's just how used to this warfare they've gotten. It's like, okay, but see, they knew they weren't the targets. Now there is the possibility that some missile that we're firing might miss the mark. That happens. There are always unintended casualties in a war. Uh, so that's an unfortunate thing. Now the Iranians claimed a school was hit and it took out a lot of young students. They're claiming 80. Now we don't know if that's true or not. It's possible because those kind of things can happen in war. Let's hope that didn't happen. But you also got to know that anytime somebody gets attacked, they always make those kind of claims. And a lot of times they manufacture them. So we don't know what happened there. I'm not even going to bring that article up. I'm just going to mention because you might see that kind of stuff. We do not know what occurred. So let's just hope that our military members stay safe because our missiles falling right now on our Air Force bases are getting hit really hard. Missiles are falling in 6 Arab Gulf states, and they're hitting airports, they're hitting buildings, hotels, they're hitting. In fact, it's like they're targeting the civilians, and that's got the Gulf states mad at Iran. And Saudi Arabia is actually chimed in and said they're joining the conflict. So it's now United States, Israel, and Saudi Arabia. So that changes things a lot. It changes it quite a bit. And a lot of the other Gulf states are talking about responding. But, Saudi Arabia's got more weapons than most of them. Some of these places like Qatar, Qatar, whatever you want to call that place, it's really unpronounceable but to an Anglo tongue. They are they're only about two-thirds the size of New Jersey, for example. So just got to keep that in mind. We got a troll in the house. Trolls don't last long in my chat room, guys. So if you're a troll, you can just forget about it. If you're coming in as a troll, you're not going to go far. My mods will take you out in a hurry. So anyway, I don't know what's going on there, but I do believe in freedom of speech, and a reminder to my mods, people are free to disagree with me, but if you come in here, there's something you got to know. Keep your language clean. And, now if you're just in here to be a troll to throw stuff at people, then don't expect to get away with that. The main thing is keep your language clean and be respectful. So all that said, Saudi Arabia oil. Yeah, the Strait of Hormuz has been closed. Now, the thing about the Strait of Hormuz is that we always expected they would close it first with mines or wrecking some ships or sinking some ships, kind of a blockade. But how they actually closed it was they just declared it closed and said, hey, if you go through the strait right now, we're going to sink your ship. So ships just stopped going through that. Now, there's a couple of ships running around the Strait of Hormuz right now, and they may be Iranian naval ships laying mines. So they may have mines in the Strait of Hormuz. This will probably spike the price of oil. So this could hit you in the pocketbook for a bit until that gets cleared out. I expect that will be cleared out in the not too distant future. That's just something to keep in mind, something that to know. The biggest thing I worry about, you look like a troll this morning. Yeah, I was a zombie most of the day today, honestly, because I got up, I was up late last night and I got up early because I was expecting my neighbor to come. Anyway, all that said, we're going to go into the news articles right now. and have a look at what is being said by the news. I'm going to pull up the one I'll bring up here. Ding, 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 ding. Let me hit share. Ding, 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 ding. Give me a second. Ding, 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 ding. So it's no longer so much hearsay because Iran themselves has confirmed the death of the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. The K is silent. Khamenei. So there we go. They've confirmed it. Furthermore, it came out on their TV. The state TV has stated it. Looks like there's some commercial going there. Before that, Israel had announced it first, and Donald Trump had announced it. Now, top U.S. official Iran planned preemptive launch to preemptively launch missiles. They say Trump was forced to act, but they did it at a time. The timing was chosen because one, Iran wasn't expecting it yet, and two, they did it when Khamenei was in meeting with his close inner circle, and the parliament was in session. And so, for a decapitation strike, let's just say it was a target-rich field. Now to move forward. So we know that morning attack. Apparently, this is the attack itself right here, where they took out the compound. Notice the smoke is coming up from a discrete location. That's where his office complex were. Montahari, I believe is the name of it. And again, 30 bomb barrage. America and Israel hit 500 targets. Now, the United States calls this Operation Epic Fury. And indeed, it is furious and serious. Epic Fury. And Israel is calling it the Roaring Lion or Lion's Roar, something like that, which is interesting because the lion is the symbol on the Iranian national flag before the Ayatollah regime took over. That's the one that the Iranian people are flying today in protest against the regime. This is a photograph of the complex, and it looks pretty darn surgical. Like everything inside this box ceased to exist. Everything inside this box to the street ceased to exist. But what is around it is still there, pretty much. Isn't that interesting? That is for 30 cruise missiles to hit that spot, that is extremely surgical. Okay, they left some of the trees on the perimeter. There's no building there. There are no buildings. That was a building complex. There are no buildings there. Wow. No, nobody that was in there is going to be combing their hair tonight. Maybe the undertakers will be combing their hair. Yikes, if they can find enough pieces of them. Holy guac and smoke-a-moly. You know, Israel said they found the body of Khamenei. So Iranian VP takes over during the wartime, raising questions about their president, how do you say it? Pezeshkian. I don't know how you say that guy's name. So the VP is running the country right now, supposedly, but they're trying to get a new supreme leader set up. But then we got, Aragachi, the foreign minister of Iran. So, oh, everything's fine. We've only lost a couple commanders, that's all. But even the country's made. And so, you know what? They're claiming that Iran's supreme leader, Khamenei, is going to give a speech in just a few minutes, just as soon as they can find all his body parts. So, yeah, don't bank on that unless they're playing an old video. The man is gone. So cheers, applause, echo across Tehran as word spreads that the supreme leader is no longer breathing. So the Iranian people are cheering, just like they were in the videos I was showing last night. Yeah, they were happy at that point in time. So I wish all these ads would quit popping up. This designer thing is really after me to buy their product. So Celebrations break out across the United States. Now, this is the Iranians that are living in dysphoria from the ones that fled Iran when the Ayatollah Khomeini took over. Celebrations break out across the United States over strikes against the Islamic Republic and in other countries and in Iran. A lot of them are celebrating. So, and here they are, draped in the lion, the Iranian lion flag. They got American flags, Iranian lion flags. See that? That's the flag with a lion in it. That is not the flag of the Ayatollah regime. That was the former flag before they took over. I don't know what that character is they put on their flag with Ayatollah took over. It looks like some kind of a bat or something. I don't know what that thing is. It looks weird, strange looking, hideous looking thing. Anyway, hideous looking. That fits a hideous regime to have a hideous looking flag. Iran closes the Strait of Hormuz to international shipping. And we got bing, 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 bing. Now, like I said, the Iran has countered. They're launching missiles. Some are getting through. Some woman in Israel, Central Israel, lost her life. 20 wounded. This is some of the effects of the bombs that that Iran's putting out. Some of their missiles. Apparently, they've had multiple waves. The first wave, the explosives on those missiles weren't that big, just like the first time they struck against Israel, which is like a protest strike. I don't even think they had warheads in those back in previous engagements. But now, the last few rounds that they've sent out have had more powerful warheads on them. This is a fair bit of damage here. That's a lot of damage right there from one missile. Looks like they got some big warheads. Some of that damage is beyond what some of the Russian missiles are doing in Ukraine. Um, Again, see, at first some of the missiles hit empty spaces like in Bahrain. Then they started hitting airports. They've hit a couple of airports, one twice so far that I know of, maybe more than that. They've hit, like I said, a hotel, office complexes. So we can see where some of these strikes are hitting. I'm going to try to get through these pretty quick tonight. Strikes on a rock base, take out two people. I've not heard of any U.S. servicemen been taken out yet. Pro-Iran group, the Kataib Hezbollah threatens U.S. And we know that there's pro-Iranian militias in Iraq. Iraq has a very substantial Shia population. So when Saddam Hussein fell, the Shias took over Iraq. And they haven't been too friendly to the United States, which gave them the power to rule their country. So uh, the Shahab al-Numan, the military spokesman for the Iraqi prime minister, said that Baghdad condemned the unjustified aggression against the Islamic Republic. See, they do sympathize with Iran. And our green zone, I saw a video, I don't have it pulled up. I saw a video where the locals in Iraq are trying to break into our green zone. And I don't know if they have or not, but they had a front end loader, giant front end loader, trying to breach the complex. It hadn't breached it as last time I seen it, so I didn't pull that up. But they were trying to do it. They may have done that by now. I don't know. Uh, Maybe after we get through these, I might pull up a different browser because I got too many tabs up here. We know this has trouble handling all these tabs. So we might pull up some X and see what we can find scrolling through that. But this is talking about the strikes. I hate what does that on an airport there. Like I said, they've hit a couple airports in Dubai. I believe the one in Dubai has been hit twice now. This was the initial hit. People were injured in that strike. Keep it in mind, concourse at Dubai International sustains minor damage, but they have retargeted it. So they are firing at civilian targets in those six Gulf states, and those six Gulf states are not happy with Iran right now. Uh, Tiffany, yeah, I agree with you, Tiffany. So And Iran's attacking military bases in Saudi Arabia. They've really been going after the Air Force bases first because it's our Air Force from the land bases that are hitting them. We do have some Army bases around about, but they're going after first and foremost the ones that's striking at them. So the Air Force is our main target. Our Air Force, wherever we have Air Force. Of course, the Chinese, it gave the Iranians all the intel, very explicit, detailed intel on where all our forces were at, where all our planes were at, the plane counts. They did that before this ever started. I mentioned that to you guys previously. Uh, Gutter, Qatar, Gutter, again, guys, I guarantee you that there's nobody on the news media or anywhere pronouncing the name of that country right. Because I had a friend, a coworker that was from there. He used to keep bees on my property, and he told me how that's actually supposed to be pronounced. And it's like, wow, you might do it one time after hearing it, but you're not going to do it the second time. It is one of the most unpronounceable country names I've ever heard of. So they reserve the right to respond as the third wave of Iranian missiles are intercepted over Doha. Well, this article is a few hours old. I probably had 4 or 5 waves come at them here and since this attack started. And it's been going on almost 24 hours now. So again, they say the situation is secure because they were actually taking out the initial waves. Now I don't know how they're looking right now, but they're urging vigilance. So they're probably going to get involved in some fashion in the strike back. So this is the smoke plume rising over Abu Dhabi, I don't know how you pronounce that, from the Iranian missile strikes. And this is kind of going through the different countries there. This might be interesting to play right here. This is in footage shows Iranian missile impact on U.S. base in Kuwait. Now, it's just this came from X. I think we could probably play this without having to worry about a strike. At least part of it's just a snip. Yeah, you can see right there. And traffic's kind of stopping, heading into the smoke. Yeah, you don't want to drive into something like that. So yeah, there's a fair use as long as you talk over it. Yeah, some people wonder why I stop videos and talk through them. It's so they don't get a copyright strike. Yeah, even then you can get a copyright claim filed against you sometime. So you got to play only short snips, talk through them, editorialize them to fit in a fair use. Iran flailing. Yes, Iran. Hey, whoosh. Yes, Iran is flailing right now, but they are still launching a lot of missiles. They got a lot of missiles. Um, but so far, we still have interceptors. Some are getting through, though. Saudi Arabia condemns Iran's attacks on Gulf nations, offers all its capabilities and fight against Tehran. And the main thing they could do is now allow U.S. Air Force to operate in and out of Saudi Arabia. So you can expect that they're doing that, and they've got their own jets, so they may actually join in themselves. Like I said, now it's a war with 3 nations against Iran, and probably 5 other Gulf state areas, except maybe Iraq. So there it is. Saudi Arabia's ready to put all of its capabilities at the Allies' disposals, warning of grave consequences if retaliatory Iranian strikes continue. So, yeah, the Mideast may be catching fire over this. The IRGC still has a lot of capability because they still have a lot of missiles and they are still doing things. Um, anyway, so let's talk about China. China. Uh, whilst we are wasting our precious missile interceptors, which we never had enough for a sustained war with China in the first place, whilst our attention is on heavily on Iran, and it will be for several weeks, at least a couple of weeks, um, China might be tempted to act to start their move on Taiwan. They're only a month away from calm sea states. So, welcome to the first day of March. Well, in April is when the sea states are best for an invasion of Iraq for a landing invasion, but they could put a blockade around Taiwan first, or maybe fire a lot of missiles in there, and maybe fire missiles at our bases in the area to keep us from intervening. Some people think that's how the whole thing would start. They'd fire on our bases first, maybe hack us here in the United States, maybe and maybe even turn on their sleeper cells they've got here. We don't know how China would go about this, but there's a lot of spec. If they think we're going to get involved, they take steps to neutralize us to keep us from really getting in there. Uh, but China's got some problems on. They are, Xi Jinping has been firing the top generals left and right over there. And so a lot of people say that could be expected to gravely impact the readiness of the People's Liberation Army forces and any invasion of Taiwan. So that's the counter argument against them invading. That, and also the fact that uh, China may suddenly see a reduction, oh shoot, what the heck, of their oil reserve, their oil supplies coming to them. So this article maintains something I said way back. Some of the news media is of the 28th of February, yesterday now, by a few minutes. Uh, Trump's attack on Iran's regime is an attack on China's economic supremacy. As I mentioned, an attack uh, on Iran might take the wind out of their sails for being able to hit Taiwan because they may not have the fuel to keep all their ships going. Now, China does have massive fuel reserves because they've kind of anticipated that. So they still might be able to carry on at least the invasion or the start of it. They could mount a sustained campaign. That might be the counter to us not having a lot of missile interceptors left over. But, how in the world do we go in there at all without missile interceptors? All our aircraft carriers have to stand off at a long distance. We'd have to use standoff weapons like the JASSMs fired from perhaps B-52s and other, maybe the ones, the AGM 158s that they would put in pallets and release from C-130s, cargo planes that would come out. Then the cruise missiles would come out of those pallets and fly in mass numbers. Well, we have some systems, we have some capabilities, so we might still be able to pull off some defense there. But it would be compromised if we go through our Gigi Pong Pong. If we go through our interceptors over here fighting Iran, we may run out of them in the conflict with Iran. And it takes a while to replenish us, quite a while, because our production rate is slow to build those. That's why Donald Trump really got onto our defense industry hard and heavy about taking a lot of money and not producing a lot of weapons. He really spanked them hard on that. And he really especially spanked Raytheon. They got a special spanking over this. I mentioned that in the past. But Trump is trying to increase the defense spending 50% next year, in part to do the Golden Dome, but maybe in part to replenish a lot of these weapons that we just are insufficient in supply of. So I'll have to read through the chat room in a little bit, guys. So these are the main articles here. So promises made, promises kept. So indeed, Trump did launch the attack, but let's see here. All right. On the app I was reading it from, I got all the numbers of the oil, but now when I put it on my computer, they won't let me do that. Can't read it all. So a large percentage of Chinese oil goes through the Strait of Hormuz, which is closed right now, and a very large percentage comes from Iran. So where this puts China now, all their cheap oil came from the nations we'd sanctioned: Venezuela, Iran, and Russia. They may be on the verge. They've lost Venezuela as a resource for their petroleum, but that was a small percentage. The Iranian oil was a pretty good percentage. That would leave the sanctioned cheap oil they were buying, for underpriced oil from Russia. Now, if we did get into war with Russia, I would expect we might attack those pipelines. We might find a way to, even though they're fairly well inland, we might try to find a way to hit those pipelines. The pipeline's a very long thing. Even covert forces could go in there, special forces, and take them out. Or, so you don't necessarily have to rely on a long-range missile. I think we one of the James Bond series, the pipeline was targeted, way back 20 years ago or so. So, that kind of thing could happen. Um, but one of the biggest ways to choke China off would be to, if we can't get in there and deal with them directly, which we probably can't do right now, would be to shut down the Malacca Strait, where all their international trade goes through. That would choke them off. And China couldn't survive that for long. But China does get some other oil that they pay premium price for, but it's all coming from U.S. allies or countries that the United States can control. So the United States could shut off everything but the oil they're getting from Russia, in essence. If that's true, if Iran becomes a Western friendly state at the end of this. So that's still not, said and done. But guys, now we got to worry about terror strikes. Terror fears skyrocket after Iran strikes, and the FBI's issued alerts on this. So what they're talking about here, the FBI counterterrorism and counterintelligence teams are on elevated alert across the country. Right here's what they're talking about. What are they talking about? Sleeper cells. We got to remember, before all this started, Iran threatened that they would attack Mar-a-Lago. A threat to attack Mar-a-Lago is a implicit admission that they indeed have sleeper cells here in America. The first time they've ever more or less admitted it. I've been warning about that for a long time. Let's hope that their command and control structure has been disrupted so much that they can't communicate to them. We don't know what state they're in that regard. This is something you guys got to be really aware about, situationally aware. We may have attacks occurring here, and it might be against our power grid. Your power may go out. And if they hit enough of these, it may not be coming back. So, if you're driving by a substation, you see somebody doing something that looks nefarious, report it immediately and spread the word on that. And what other YouTubers on here telling you to keep an eye on the substations and report anything that looks strange? I've not heard anybody else say that. But, guys, or if you see anything that looks nefarious and strange anywhere, like near our water supplies, municipal water treatment plants, things like that, um, we've got to pay attention, my friends. Yes, grid down. We don't want grid down. It could happen. It could well happen. And that's something I've been warning about since the inception of my channel was those sleeper cells. When I started talking about sleeper cells, nobody else on YouTube was talking about sleeper cells. Now everybody's yapping about it. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff I brought to you, and it was not in the news anywhere back when I started talking about this. Nowhere was that in any news. So this is something I brought to you before anyone else, as far as I know. I sure never heard anywhere else for some long time, until some long time after I started talking about it. Anyway, now here's some kind of a funny thing. A tale of two reactions. Iranian civilians cheer and American leftists sneer or shriek, according to this article, about these attacks. So, Washington Beacon, Free Beacon with bombs on either side. That's interesting. I don't know if they just added the bombs for this. So, yeah, this is an Iranian civilian, real happy over it. And here's your liberals. I honestly think if Donald Trump gave every American a gold bar, they would scream and cry about it. There's nothing he can do that they're going to be happy with. I don't care what it is. If he don't do it, they're going to complain. If he does do it, they're going to complain. It's kind of like my dad used to tell about my mom. He says, you can't please a woman. He said that, I'm not going to tell that story. It's a little too colorful. Anyway, y'all want to hear Donald Trump say, this is why I say we're not coming in. Let's play Trump again. This is what he said the other night. Get rid of that. This is what he said in the wee hours after this attack started. Oh, I got to turn on my video for this. Oh, before I do that, I got to turn off the audio to the other video. Yikes, hang on. I can come over here and turn off this audio. All right, let's come back on here and turn on this audio. Yeah, so do I have it? Oh, I got it turned off down here. Turn this one on. So many things to keep, problem is I don't like how my Zoom launches the browser with my channel talking. I don't like that. Anyway, here we are.
At operations in Iran. Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard, terrible people. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world. For 47 years, the Iranian regime has chanted death to America and waged an unending campaign of bloodshed and mass murder, targeting the United States, our troops, and the innocent people in many, many countries. Among the regime's very first acts was to back a violent takeover of the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, holding dozens of American hostages for 444 days. In 1983, Iran's proxies carried out the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut that killed 241 American military personnel. In 2000, they knew and were probably involved with the attack on the USS Cole. Many died. Iranian forces killed and maimed hundreds of American service members in Iraq. The regime's proxies have continued to launch countless attacks against American forces stationed in the Middle East in recent years, as well as U.S. naval and commercial vessels in international shipping lanes. It's been mass terror, and we're not going to put up with it any longer. From Lebanon to Yemen and Syria to Iraq, the regime has armed, trained, and funded terrorist militias that have soaked the earth with blood and guts. And it was Iran's proxy, Hamas, that launched the monstrous October 7th attacks on Israel, slaughtering more than 1,000 innocent people, including 46 Americans, while taking 12 of our citizens hostage. It was.
Now, the reason I'm playing this is because he makes a case in here that suggests to me that we're not putting boots on the ground. So just hear him out.
Something like the world has never seen before. Iran is the world's #1 state sponsor of terror and just recently killed tens of thousands of its own citizens on the street as they protested. It has always been the policy of the United States, in particular, my administration, that this terrorist regime can never have a nuclear weapon. I'll say it again, they can never have a nuclear weapon. That is why in Operation Midnight Hammer last June, we obliterated the regime's nuclear program at Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. After that attack, we warned them never to resume their malicious pursuit of nuclear weapons, and we sought repeatedly to make a deal. We tried. They wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. Again, they wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. They didn't know what was happening. They just wanted to practice evil. But Iran refused, just as it has for decades and decades. They rejected every opportunity to renounce their nuclear ambitions, and we can't take it anymore. Instead, they attempted to rebuild their nuclear program and to continue developing long-range missiles that can now threaten our very good friends and allies in Europe, our troops stationed overseas, and could soon reach the American homeland. Just imagine how emboldened this regime would be if they ever had and actually were armed with nuclear weapons as a means to deliver their message. For these reasons, the United States military is undertaking a massive and ongoing operation to prevent this very wicked, radical dictatorship from threatening America and our core national security interests. We're going to destroy their missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground. It will be totally, again, obliterated.
So that does say something about how far they're going to go in this campaign. It suggests that they are going to continue this campaign until they have blasted what they believe is all the missiles and all the missile manufacturing areas. So I'm losing some people when I'm playing this, but the reason I'm playing this is so you can understand where they're planning to go with this. And this tells you how far they're going to go, but it also tells you how far they're not going to go. He does contain both of that in this talk. And this is why I would say that we're not going to see boots on the ground. That's why I'm playing. I've lost some viewers when I'm playing this, but that's why I'm playing. I just want y'all to understand that.
To annihilate their Navy, we're going to ensure that the region's terrorist proxies can no longer destabilize the region or the world.
Well, the proxies won't be able to do much if their mother country is not there to supply them, like the Houthis. The Houthis don't build those missiles, but they're trained to fire them. On the other hand, he also said he's going to obliterate the Navy. So there's a lot of things yet to be done in this campaign. So this campaign is going to go on for probably a couple weeks, maybe longer.
And attack our forces and no longer use their IEDs or roadside bombs, as they are sometimes called, to so gravely wound and kill thousands and thousands of people, including many Americans. And we will ensure that Iran does not obtain a nuclear weapon. It's a very simple message. They will never have a nuclear weapon.
I've lost a lot of viewers playing this. Just hang on. I'm playing this for a reason. I'm playing this so you'll know and hear that we're not going to put boots on the ground. At least that's according to what he's saying here.
This regime will soon learn that no one should challenge the strength and might of the United States Armed Forces. I built and rebuilt our military in my first administration, and there is no military on earth even close to its power, strength, or sophistication. My administration has taken every possible step to minimize the risk to U.S. personnel in the region. Even so, and I do not make this statement lightly, the Iranian regime seeks to kill. The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties. That often happens in war. But we're doing this not for now. We're doing this for the future, and it is a noble mission. We pray for every service member as they selflessly risk their lives to ensure that Americans and our children will never be threatened by a nuclear-armed Iran. We ask God to protect all of our heroes in harm's way, and we trust that with his help, the men and women of the armed forces will prevail. We have the greatest in the world, and they will prevail. To the members of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, the armed forces, and all of the police, I say tonight that you must lay down your weapons and have complete immunity, or in the alternative, face certain death. So lay down your arms. You will be treated fairly with total immunity, or you will face certain death. Finally, to the great, proud people of Iran, I say tonight that the hour of your freedom is at hand. Stay sheltered. Don't leave your home. It's very dangerous outside. Bombs will be dropping everywhere. When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take. This will be probably...
And that's it right there. He's not saying we're going to take over the government. He's telling the people there to take over the government. He said it will be yours to take. That is suggestive that there's a limit as to how far we're going to go with this. How far we're going to go? According to Trump, we're going to obliterate the missiles, the missile program, and sink the Navy, and do as much decapitation as possible. But he's telling them that the government is yours to take. So that the way he put that is suggestive that we're not going to go in with boots on the ground. We still might put some special forces in there, but we're not going to do a military invasion of Iran. And that's the good part of this. But anyway,
your only chance for generations. For many years, you have asked for America's help, but you never got it. No president was willing to do what I am willing to do tonight. Now you have a president who is giving you what you want. So let's see how you respond. America is backing you with overwhelming strength and devastating force. Now is the time to seize control of your destiny and to unleash the prosperous and glorious future that is.
Well, we got several people that quit watching. They're dropping out. But I'm telling you why I'm playing this. I'm playing this to tell you he's telling us what they're going to do and what they're not going to do. And it's just so that you can understand that. That's the only reason I'm playing this. And if you're not happy with that, then get the heck out of here. But that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to tell you guys, I'm bringing you information to frame what's going on. So I'm just interpreting what he's saying. I'm not validating what he's saying. I'm not sitting here rooting for you. I'm showing you what it is. If you can't handle that, then you got an issue with yourself.
Within your reach. This is the moment for action. Do not let it pass. May God bless the brave men and women of America's armed forces. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless you all. Thank you.
There. End of that, okay? I played that for a reason. I played it so you would know that he is not talking about an invasion force. I'm just being plain about that. That was the reason for playing it. Well, a lot of people didn't like it. They just quit watching. Well, you got a problem if you can't stop to try to understand what's going on here, because we got a war going on. You need to understand what it is. But I've talked about the gravity of it, that you got to be prepared for sleeper cell attacks here in our terra firma, right here in our homeland in the US of A and other places, because the Iranians are talking about hitting other places too. So I'm just wanting you to understand that. So that's the end of the news articles I'm going to show on this topic, unless we decide to go to X. I'll ask you guys if you want me to go to X. I'm going to have to pull up a different browser because I got too many things that I might be able to open up in here and go into that. But I'm going to show you some other stuff. So if you just went and dropped off, you're going to miss this. That's something you need to know. FDA recalls blueberries sold in 4 U.S. states because they have listeria, and they say it could be a possible cause of death. So I'm bringing you some other news here that everybody needs to know about if you're in these 4 states, and we're going to cover to you what these states are. It is Oregon, Washington State, Wisconsin, and Michigan. So if you're in Oregon, Washington, Wisconsin, or Michigan, watch out about the blueberries because apparently they've been contaminated with listeria. Now, for those that decided they didn't want to watch, well, tough nuggies. Hope you're not in one of those states eating blueberries. That's all I got to say. Anyway, it really bugs me when I'm bringing news and people just start in mass, clicking out just because there's something they didn't want to hear. But I didn't play it to be playing Don Trump. I played it to bring across the message of the extent, how far they plan to go, and where they plan not to go in this conflict, because he told us. Anyway, and I'm not saying you got to agree with it. It wasn't about that. It was about you understanding what is going on. Anyway, so got some people. Some people don't, I don't know. So I'm making someone get a lot of dislikes on this video just for that. Or maybe my ranting at you for bailing out. But I'm telling you, I told you why I was going to play it before I started it. I stopped it several times and told you why in the course of it. So I don't know what your problem is. If you got a problem with that, tell me in the chat room. Don't just chicken out. Say it in the chat room. Man up. Woman up. Jesus, people. Come on. Guys, but I'm coming here and I have set up this website. I spent money to develop this website to be able to bring you alternative products so you're not supporting the House of Klaus, the people that are putting contaminants in your food and on your products. So because we know there's a lot of toxic. I've covered this in several videos. The toxins we're getting on practically everything we're using, all our shampoos, toothpaste, mouthwashes, dish detergent, all kind of stuff, guys. Lotions. Uh, so if you want to get away from that, if you want to get away from these companies, which BlackRock owns controlling share in all of them, and these companies, 12 companies control 550, then I would suggest, you think about an alternative. And for that reason, it's a family-owned business, American jobs, made in USA. So just if you want to get in on this, come in here to switchwithgreg.com and fill this form out and submit the form. And this just goes to me. It's not going to some company. It's not going to anybody that's going to sell your data. That's not going to happen. I will share it with one individual who will not share it any further. He's helping me contact people because I need some help. I'm super busy. Anyway, we'll look at the earthquakes, and then we're going to look at the weather. And I'll ask you guys if you want me to continue by going to X and seeing some of the latest. Uh, a lot of you people are worried about the cabals and the rich people, and that's how you disempower them. Is you quit giving them your money, and that includes, look, just look at the Epstein files. It's loaded with these uber rich people who you give your money to when you support all these corporations down here. Yeah, they got their own little cabal, and I've covered that in a video too. And I can go further in depth on that in the future. The earthquakes aren't as intensive as what they had been. We got something here that looks like it's on the San Andreas, Wells, California. We got some stuff going on in Nevada. We've got Panama. Look at that one. 5.0 in Panama. Kamchatka Peninsula is having lots of earthquakes. And we know that they had a submarine base hit. Now look at that. That's the biggest one on the chart tonight. 6.3 in Fiji. Pretty big. Look here in the Philippines. 5.3. Got a bunch of them over here. Now these are these islands that Japan controls. It's just east of Taiwan. Now low one over here in Japan itself, well, not too low, 4.4. This is close to Guam. Northern Mariana Islands. Okay. And India, Afghanistan. So, in case you don't know, Afghanistan and Pakistan are at war right now. Well, at war, guys. And that could spread. I'm going to stop the share for a little bit. Um, what I might do here is pull off one of these tabs and maybe use that as a launching point for some other tabs if y'all want me to continue with this. Now, all right, what I can do, and I'm going to leave it up to you guys. We've been going for 62 minutes. I could just go through the chat now, and we could do our egg guess. It's late. We've been going for an hour. I don't want to go much past an hour. It's better to keep the videos short than long if I can, especially for our coffee club drinkers. But we finished the official news part for our coffee club drinkers, except the coffee club guys might want to see this. Y'all want me to open X? I'm going to ask you. So I'm not going to, this ain't like playing the Trump video. We can go to X and just see videos of some of the latest and catch the latest news that's on X. We can go into X and type in a couple things. Looking about child molesting is not funny. There's nothing funny about messing around with children. So I have to work in the morning. Okay, Tiffany. So maybe we will just wrap up here. If y'all want me to go to X, say go X. If you don't want me to, just say no X. Go X or no X. I'll let you guys vote. Open X, please. All right, we got to go X. Got one go X. Any no X? All right, we got two go X. We'll give it a few minutes. I'm leaving this up to you guys. We're being it's entirely up to you guys. What I hear the most is where we're going. Go X. All right, we got three go X's. Nobody said no X yet. Now the viewers are coming back in the house now. That's good. View count's coming back up. Go X. So for those just joining, all right, everybody's wanting to go X. For those just joining, Uh, as you know by now, the Khamenei is pushing daisies, and the head of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, the commander, was taken out. Apparently, the president of Iran was taken out. Practically the entire parliament was taken out. All right, everybody wants me to go. All right, quick X. All right, we won't spend a lot of time there. I'm good on that quick X. So I'm going to go to x.com, and I'll share it here in a minute. I'm just going to pull it up. All right, we'll share it, and I will just explore. We'll explore it together. I won't pre-enter stuff, and we'll just do it all together here. So let's hit a share. Ding, 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 ding. All right, let's see what we see here. Uh, that's like a space launch there. That is not what we're looking for tonight. Move this. So Iran, I'm just going to put Iran attack. So that'll be pretty wide open. Oh, I don't want to attack on them. I want to see what they're attacking. We got Iran attacks Israel, attacks Dubai, and it's Iran attacks. We should get all of that. Let's see what we get here. We can re-enter it. We can search on this different ways. See what we can scare up here. Here is some analysis of the attacks. Comprehensive analysis of Iranian ballistic missiles and UAV strikes. Wow, you can see where all they're hitting. Wow, they're hitting a lot of strikes in Kuwait. Look at this. Kuwait's been hit heavy. Uh, Qatar, Qatar, whatever you call that place, has been hit. Uh, Oman, Muscat, really? That's interesting. UAE, Saudi Arabia, not hitting a lot in Iraq. It doesn't look like. Well, it's said that they've hit. Oh, that's close to Riyadh. That's our military base close to Riyadh that got hit. So, oh, they've hit in Jordan. Yeah. So, yeah, this is not showing the strikes on Israel. So this is not really comprehensive like it says here. So there's got a tax on here that's not even on this list. So that's interesting. That's interesting. It's also showing our attacks over there a little bit, some of them. You see the fires. And apparently most of the missiles are coming from one, two. Yeah, we hit a base up here. It was probably launching some. We've hit it. So I would expect we'd be really hammering this location. Interesting. Let's get out of that. What time was that put up? I don't know. 29 seconds ago. Well, it's not too comprehensive. We don't want to play anything directly from some other news service. Israel attacks. Targeted nine. Oh, this is in 2025. Yeah. And Israel just hits everybody. He's going to be next to take over Iran. Okay, this is not too much what we want to see. Let's go back and narrow down our search filter here. How come I type it in and it's suddenly blank? Iran attacks. Israel. So what they did to Israel. Hey, we got a super chat. Tiffany, thank you. God bless everyone and God bless America. Pray for the innocent children and people caught up in this stupid war. Yes, we should pray for them. Amen. Um, and for our troops too. Republic of Iran state media confirms Iran's. Yeah, we knew this. This don't look like attacks on Israel. That's what I searched for. Something that is just some silly video. China says it will take action against Israel if it attacks Iran. Really? I didn't see that in the news service. That is from 2023. Okay. Not a good search. That didn't produce a lot of fruit. Iran attacks Israel live. Let's see what we get. We'll attack live. Okay, this is more like what we're looking for. Israel attacks Iran. Dubai. Let's see. Israel attacks Iran. Dubai, Abu, whatever that is, Tehran, Doha. Iran attacks Israel. Blah blah blah. A lot of stuff being said there. I don't think that's recent video. I think that's something made up. Reason being is we don't have battleships like that anymore. So I'm not trusting that source 18 hours ago. Easy switch. Reality watch. Just in. Iranian missiles hit Bet Shemesh in Israel near Jerusalem. Here we go. Wow, that's a lot of destruction. Look at that. It's Tel Aviv. We do know a lot of their stuff's getting through. So over here it says Iran has done significant damage to Tel Aviv. Wow, that is pretty interesting. We know he's no longer around. Okay, we've seen that video. We've seen that. That's going to overpost. All right, so let's do another search. Iran attacks. So we can get to Dubai. And there's US base. Yeah, we want to see that. Bunch of talking heads. We don't want to see that. Hmm. Hope I don't get in trouble for showing that on this platform.
It's gonna fall. Oh no.
Is he speaking English?
Yeah, that hit. That hit. Look, one more.
These aren't even, there's no intercepts flying in. What's going on?
Boy, that's coming towards us, looks like. Ram, this is coming towards us.
Sounds almost like an Indian guy. What happens is these things are basically re-entering the atmosphere. That's broke up. Looks like maybe merged. It's either merged or it broke up. I bet it's merged. 3 warheads. Anyway, wow. That was interesting. Let's look at what it says about the data on this. It says attacks Dubai. That was 4 hours ago. This is apparently in Dubai. A lot of damage. It is a war. It's definitely a war. I don't want to play that stuff. That's copyright. I can't show violence on here, so I hope the YouTube don't think that is. Usually, if it's after the fact, just damage, they're not as bad about that. Or a distant event like a warhead falling in the distance, but you can't show people getting obliterated or people fighting. If I see something like that, I got to stop it immediately. Um, Now, there's one that said U.S. bases. We want to see that. Ran attacks U.S. base. Oh, I said that one. Get in. We had a interceptor coming. It wasn't going for that one's going for this one to hit. There's a successful intercept. That's probably interceptors going up right there. Those are our incoming warheads. This guy's really not good at capture. West Fox. Yikes. Well, I was talking through it, so maybe we'll be safe on that. But it's Fox as just put onto X. So I hope they ain't not going to hit on that. That's kind of like the people in some of my other videos I showed last night. Things blowing up around them, and they're just casually sipping their coffee, whatever they're doing. Here we go. Moment Iranian missile strikes U.S. base in a lot of debris flying in there in Bahrain. They blew a building up. A lot of debris flying. Oh shoot! It wasn't listed as being. Uh, what I'm trying to catch is stuff that individuals film. You don't want to catch it from some news service. Dadgummit. Oh, I should have saw it in the title there. Yeah. I gotta be careful what I play on here. And one reason I hadn't been playing a lot of X is you run into a lot of danger going to X. Playing. Stick F and all right. Enough of that. There are some pro-regime protests going on over there, and some counter-protests. They're being coordinated and organized by the regime itself. The anti-regime protests are pretty organic in their occurrence. So, all right, enough of that. Stop the share. All righty, folks. So this is a war. Orb of Justice. Oh, you know what? Let's see if we can find the orb video. I wonder if I actually type in Orb of Justice. There's Orb of Judgment. Iran. Scroll up that before I share it so I actually see a video of that. So far, I'm sent tons of other videos. There it is. There it is. Let's go share again. Ding, 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 ding. That's odd. Now, something to say. There it is right there. A lot of times when you zoom in with the camera on a light, it don't look right. Just try it with a darn street light. It'll look weird. Those cameras, the CCDs on cameras aren't good at catching that, just regular cameras when you zoom in on it. And a lot of people come up with, look, the stars aren't real, they're water. Yeah, right. It's because your stupid camera don't work right. There it is. That's where he tried to zoom in on it, and that's what you get. Subtitle here: the Americans will go in with high technology, and here they're claiming derived from alien technology. That's their claim. Exactly. Anyway, that's your little orb there. And what's interesting is these orbs appear just before we go into conflict, it seems, all too often. All these other videos in here. When I search for orb of just judgment, it's just everything in the world pops up. That's the only video of it in this whole list. Let me trying to scroll. Oh, Aurora Mazda. That's the oh shoot, what's the name of that religion? All right, that's enough of all that. Lord. Mm. Let's see. Morning, Greg and all. Hey, old as dirt, you just joined us. Trash man. Yeah, that order keeps showing up just before the U.S. strike stuff. What is that? What is it? So I'm going to look at the chat room. I'm going to do it here on my main computer. Then we're going to do the egg guess, and we're going to call it a night. We've been going for 81 minutes. Why are we able to see so many videos and pictures of this Iran war, and yet nothing much from the Russian-Ukraine war? Well, Ukraine limits the data coming out of their country on the war. You can be arrested for sharing video in Iran, in Ukraine now. Although you do see stuff, but they censor the heck out of stuff. Israel censors the heck out of stuff. Both Israel and Ukraine are heavy into censoring. So just keep that in mind. I'm gonna go to the top of the chat room up here and see if this is both come to the same place. No, both my chat rooms start off in different places. One on my laptop and one on the computer here. That's weird. I will go with the computer here because I've had this and started first. Build a kid. Are we now out of ammunition? Not yet, I don't think, but there's talk that, well, not all ammo, but our interceptors may run short. Now, it was supposed to have a 2-week supply. So I don't know. But we're not intercepting everything. That's known. Wesley, I only timed your foul language comment. Okay. One of those comments were from Wesley. They're far up the stream here. I can't see them now. So, yeah, don't use foul language, people. And we're a family channel. Yes, Nanny, you and I both. We're hoping the sleeper cells don't activate here. That's something to be praying about. The what nebula above the cosmic lion head? Talking about Leo and the constellation Leo? Well, I don't know if we're going to see suicides anonymous mouse person, but let's hope not. We've had a lot higher oil prices in the past. They've been down pretty recently. Probably thinks the drill baby drill, maybe in part. Yes, they blockaded the Strait of Hormuz. I covered that. Cindy Lou, you got to get it to go. See, if the sleeper cells are here, they will be just out in the various communities. We don't know yet. They'll be hiding. You won't know. Well, Bill the Kid, they haven't activated yet, but maybe they've got to have time after all this started. Let's hope they don't activate. That's what I keep saying. But Iran did basically say they were talking about hitting some places here in the United States. They've singled out Mar-a-Lago, and you don't hit a place in another country unless you got a sleeper cell there. That's why I said that basically Iran admitted to having sleeper cells here. They may be in every state. Well, we'll just see how. The best thing I can say is be ready. Stay. I'll bring this to you so you'll know to be situation aware. I'll bring it to you so you know we could lose our power grid. I never said this is going to happen or that's. The only thing I say is going to happen is if we don't get a power grid hardened, eventually the sun will take it out if nothing else does. I've said that many times. I've also said the prices of food would go up, and they did. I very, I seldom speak in certitudes unless I'm really certain. And like a lot of other YouTubers, they'll tell you, well, this is going to happen. Big channels are doing that. This is going to happen. That's going to happen. That's how their track record's looking right now. I don't know if Jeffy Dahmer and David Koresh fit in the same category, but yeah, I don't know. Both had, and Dahmer didn't have a cult. Koresh did, but they shouldn't have been taken out the way they were. Was able to release the comments from prison. Hmm. Okay, I don't see what's his comments now. I know for a fact that China military may have been here for years. It was a whistleblower on one of the, I was a whistleblower when I was in 2019, interested misconstitutional rights. Well, they know they came across the border in droves when it was wide open. Thousands of them. We know that. That's going to be the most dangerous sleeper cells. Those tax-free bandits need to prove doomsday ever run. What are you talking about? A whole mine? C3N whole mine? Yes, I like the First Amendment and Second Amendment and all the amendments in the Constitution. China, exactly, Tiffany. Fauci, oh my gosh. Fauci brought us the ouchie. So I'm reading through the comments here. I'm just going through them all. See what I missed. Constantine's XP. What's the XP stand for? Jesus with a sword. What's the XP? Whole mine? C3 and whole mine? Mr. Z is playing Battleship. It's a strategic game. Hey, I used to like to play that game. Battle. You sunk my battleship. Yeah, I used to like playing that. All right. Andy sings Anonymous Mouse from Oz. I agree. 26 years ago when I was 22, got the writings and proof. I had lot of dreams where I was shown millions of people ending their own lives. Why is that, Andy? NATO. Stephen Hawkins was on Epstein files and Bill Gates and the Clintons. Well, what do you think? What do you think Stephen Hawkins, a paraplegic, could do? He did go. Now we know he went to Epstein Island. That's a fact. Clinton went there several times. Now Hillary said she never met him. I thought there were some pictures that would show that is a different story. Have you heard of the discombobulator? Yes. I thought about doing a video on that. I don't know yet. I started to pull the stuff together to do a video on what the discombobulator may be. So a lot of people have been talking about that discombobulator. Are they using it in Iran? Could be. And he sings, says, much love to each of you in chat, to Greg and all of humanity. We're so much more powerful than we remember. That's true. We're so domesticated, unfortunately so. I did a video on domesticated man once. I absolutely did. Homeless for 5 years. Oh, Lord. Homeless. Are you homeless now, Andy? I'm starting to spend some time living in vans, I'll tell you that. Trump is part of the agenda to bring in into it. Could be, Tiffany. I've said many times, trust no man. I even did a video um, asked if Trump was a covert member of the deep state. I did a video on that back during his first administration. Boy, I took a lot of heat for that. But he is a New York billionaire. Just keep that in mind. I worry about sleeper cells more than what's going on over there. Sleeper cells could do more damage here than anything else in the war. Grid down. Miss Constitutional Right says crazy can be good. Brandon, RQ. Interesting. What's Marv talk about? Spunky sugar. I don't watch Marv anymore. I kind of boycott his channel. So you're almost taken out for being a whistleblower. Yeah, you can run into trouble. No kidding. China crosses into U.S. over the Canadian borders. Yeah, there's some of that going on too. If New Days is with us, she does. New Days has got pneumonia. She's got pneumonia. We got no super chat. Let me scroll down that real fast over here. All right. Colin Shred Shed. 154 people here tonight. Wow, Greg. Well, we had 170 something earlier. I think we hit 180. Well, thank you for the super chat, Colin Shred Shed. Make sure I can say that right. So we had two super chats. Are you selling worms again? Not yet. Oh, we got another one from you. Thanks for the scoop. Okay. Yeah, you've been kind of acting out. I appreciate that. And I think I saw the one from Tiffany praying for the innocent children. So thank you, Collins Shred Shed. Appreciate that. Salute to you. I'm just trying to go through all the comments here. I know Miss Constitutional Rights, my older friend of 30 years, has been locked up in the psych ward for many years. Oh, Sandy, why stay silent? Although when sung in music, it's just a mad music. Also, music, you can tell the truth in music. That's an interesting angle. Little horn in the Vatican, Roman Empire was spread into Europe and influenced Rome. That's a big topic. I would never go to Texas. Well, Tiffany, why would you never go to Texas? When Trump's Treasury Secretary said she wanted Main Street with Wall Street, that sounded like a ball out to me. I wonder what that's going on with that. Good question. Last ceilings conversation. Uh, even New Zealand? New Zealand, Kenya. So now America is the second beast serving the first beast in Revelations. Yeah, it could be. I hope not. So nearly that's my president. Trump talk was cheap. Don't trust him. Trust no man, Tiffany. Especially the world leaders. You got to question all the big time leaders. Question everyone. Song about it. Ex Namarillo. I don't know that one. I don't know that one. Zinjamin, good to see you. Zinjamin's usually the first one to appear on my channel. I came in a little earlier than that, though. I got a plan, guys. I've got a plan. I'll tell you about in a little bit. Mama Spot, good buddy, keep doing. You're good, buddy. Keep doing you. Well, thank you for that. Cannibalism is illegal in the entire, and it should be. But we got people that are wanting to delve into cannibalism. There's restaurants that have served human flesh. Nasty. Nasty. Bam, vote with your money. Exactly. Exactly. And that's what Milton Friedman wrote in his book, Free to Choose. He said every dollar you spend is a vote. I read in that book back in 1980, early 1981. Yeah, I was reading that just before I went to Alaska, 1981, early 1981. Gain of Fauci, it's like gain of function there. Jonathan Livingston Seagull. Good to see you back. Oh, we had one vote for no X. I didn't see that. Sorry, Cindy Lou. Hope I didn't stay on it too long. Nato says social media should talk more about Stephen Hawkins and Bill Gates and Epstein files. What do you think of Stephen Hawkins done now? Uh, they use nefarious sex activities to blackmail people. It's a tool for blackmail. It's how the global elite maintain secrecy. Want to squeeze on China oil. That's maybe one of the best things that come out. Hexafuse, what's fake? What's fake hexafuse? You really have to study videos now, but true. They can you can clone a person's voice and image and make them do anything you want them to do. And now it's got the point that it looks real. Sure, Beto, that's one of the things that makes it dangerous. Large pop, yeah, but Texas has got a lot of people. It's a big state. It's got some big cities: Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston. Those are some of the biggest cities. So it's got like two major metropolitan areas. But there's a lot of parts of Texas that not so. You can get some remote areas in Texas, places that don't have so many people. Oops, I didn't jump to the bottom. Saw a comment and it dropped way past a bunch of them. I want to do that. I hate it when it does that. I don't know where I left off. I'm trying to scroll back up. Foo Fighter. Yeah, Larry. Could be a Foo Fighter. That's what they look like, according to the World War II troops. They were orbs. Oh, Dirt, how you doing? Minus 15C. Yeah, you're pretty chill. We've been pretty warm this week here. Got up in the 70s. It's actually supposed to get to 80 degrees here tomorrow. Yeah, Miss Constitutional Rights. I don't think it's aliens either. I've covered that on Galactic Groups channel. Mr. Johnson reported the big hit on Navy base. Was drone flying into radar on the ground. It's like those big golf balls. Well, thank you, Gator, for saying it's a good show. One thing out there is that Iran is holding off on any hyper until the interceptors are close to empty. It's what it looks like. That's what some people are saying. Hey, Chris, MMM 7776. Thank you for sending love. You're right. Could be in neighbors. That's constitutional rights. Yeah, part of it is not taken care of. George K. Vegas, how you doing? Yeah, we're missing a lot of people tonight. So Obama Spike says, has Hillary ever been known for telling the truth? You know how to tell if she's lying? Her lips are moving. Yeah, Chris, appreciate you thanking me for being a watchman. That's my name, Gregory. It means the watchman. I thought it was funny when uh, Steve Poplar starts calling all his people watchmen. That means they're all Gregory's. Well, be vigilant on YouTube. It's my understanding that they are going to be suspending accounts again since Jim Jordan has been busy. Yeah, I could get my channel suspended. What I showed on X was dangerous to be shown, honestly. Just instead of your channel after 4 years. Wow. I served in the military for 22 years in the military and one tour duty in Iraq. Well, salute you, Mad Dog, Mad Hound Dog. I like hound dogs. Constitutional rights says don't worry about Trump. Well, Carl Cole thinks that what's happening here is divine. He thinks it's coming from God. Continue to be that one behind every blade of grass. Now, amen to that. That T-shirt with a big blade of grass and be hiding behind it, you know. That would be a good T-shirt with your nug. You don't know what Nug is? Tell me in the chat room. Read the Ethiopian Bible. Now that's interesting. The Ethiopian Bible. They got a lot of books were taken out by the Council of Nicaea, but they're all in the Ethiopian Bible. It's got 88 books. Oh, 13 people in the Cincinnati music venue tonight. Yeah. Rich people, yeah, they're all problematic. Most of them. Now, being rich isn't a problem. It's when they start hobnobbing with each other, and you got to watch them. It's trying to skip on me. I'm not trying to get through all these comments. It's trying to skip down. Obama spot. Love you guys. Patriots are the bee's knees. Well, we got a lot of patriots in here. They flock to my channel. You stop watching Steve Watchman? So what is it you didn't like about Steve Poplar, Mad Hound Dog, excuse me. Maybe you're the USA Watchman. Ben David is the watchman in Jerusalem. Okay. Hey, baby girl, how you doing? I heard that too. Could be a clone. I don't know. This Constitution right says the person that is playing her in the double when she was live. Oh, what are we talking about? Oh, playing Hillary. Clones are real. Yes. All presidents are big. Well, all presidents have, yeah. Hey, I'm going to tell you something. This whole thing with Biden was strange because there's different images of Biden different times, like where his earlobes were not attached like mine, but then they were like attached. How do you do that? So there were some really strange things with Biden. Some people think that we weren't seeing the real Biden for years, like Weekend from Bernie. Was taken out of the Bible. Oh yeah. Well, out the Book of Enoch. That's a good one. All right, Rolly Herrera. Glad you appreciated it. Travis Canval. We cannot see AI with our eyes. Cameras on your phones. Yeah, you can see what it says. 25 playback speed, slow mo. Record them all with your phones. All right, so I got the bottom of the chat room. And I know it did not start at the very top. I hate it when it does that. So here's what we're going to do. Take a swig of coffee. How long have I been on? I'm going to talk about something before we go on the next phase here to wrap this up. 107 minutes. We got 191 in the ring. Wow. Be a good time to introduce a little topic to talk about here. You ever notice how there is the Economic Forum of the World? I'm trying to twist that around a little bit. Now that's public. And we know that's the uber elite trying to control your lives. Big business. They're the ones that come out and told us that, they're trying to set up a different world. You will have no privacy. You will own nothing. And you'll be happy. Yeah, and you'll eat the bugs and ride around on a tricycle in 15-minute cities whilst they are in their private jets zooming around the world eating caviar and whatever else, steak. They're trying to create a two-tiered society where they're way up there and you're not getting there. They'll knock the ladders out so you can't ascend. And one of the great things about capitalism is you can climb free enterprise, basically. I'm not talking about the kind of capitalism practiced in the United States. It's not pure capitalism. It is corporatism. It's the government and the companies in bed with each other. But good night, Tiffany. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us tonight, Tiffany. I'm talking about the elite now. We know that David Rockefeller, who was the youngest chairman of the New York Council for Foreign Relations, which is one of those controlling organizations, started his Trilateral Commission. It's all about control. But we know there's private clubs like Bohemian Grove. Got a couple thousand members, apparently. Then we know there is one of the most private groups is the Bilderbergers. They're like Build a Bear, Build a Burger. Well, they're named after the hotel where they first met. Now, in like a presidential administration and just all over the place, you get leaks. You always get leaks, but you never get leaks from these uber elite organizations. No, even when key people, the news media, are in regular attendance, they don't talk about what goes on in there. Not at all. They don't talk about it. How do you get hundreds and hundreds of people together every year, year in and year out? Now, the Bilderbergers got where they publish an agenda. We don't know if that's the real agenda or not. How can you have these kind of organizations and keep everything? How do you do that? How do you keep things quiet? They have to have heinous blackmail on their members. How do you do that? I would suggest that what we saw with Epstein is the tip of the iceberg. This is rampant in government, rampant in a lot of your heads of corporations. It's rampant in a lot of your big systems, a lot of your big societies. And probably to float to the top, if you're not a member of their club, they'll try to keep you from ascending. And then once you get to be a member of the club, then you get all kind of perks, but you get it at a cost. And you ain't going to tell what it is because you got blackmail on you. They won't let you in. That is what I'm thinking. Truth is stranger than fiction. That's what I'm worried about. Yes, we got 215 in the house now. The truth is stranger than, yes, it's disgusting. Eyes wide shut. You know, it's interesting. What's his name? In brain lock. The guy who wrote the movie Dr. Strangelove, 2001 Space Odyssey, the one who's directed all that. Come on, guys, help me out. What's his name? I'm getting brain lock. I'm trying to call him somebody else. Somebody else's name is popping in my head. Oh my gosh, I knew a guy that worked for him. He did a lot of movies that tried to tell us what was going on. Kubrick, thank you. I was trying to say Zubrin. They both had a UB in them. It wasn't Zubrin. I personally know cremation and care. Yeah, whoosh. Nasty ceremony. What does it really mean? They claim it's an effigy, but that's just crazy. And we wouldn't know about that for Alex Jones. Alex Jones started out, he was interested. I don't know about now, but he does bring out some points. But the fact he broke in that place, Stanley Kubrick, exactly. He tried to give us some heads up on things going on, and that's probably why he made this last movie was Eyes Wide Shut. And he passed away while making the movie. He didn't even finish it. He passed away, kicked the bucket while making the movie. Did someone help him kick the bucket? It's a good question. Maybe he was revealing too much. And maybe what he actually meant to reveal by whoever took over the movie when he kicked the bucket, it might have got altered. We may not know what he intended to put in that movie to start with. We probably don't. Because even like with Dr. Strangelove, crazy thing about Dr. Strangelove was that it shocked a lot of defense officials because a lot of the stuff in there was that he put out It's based on classified information. And a lot of that kind of stuff was actually going on. Dr. Strangelove was like a documentary almost. I didn't know how to spell his name. That's okay. You got the point across. Yeah, Kubrick, Stanley Kubrick. I knew Frederick Ordway III. He was the science director for the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey. In fact, I had a beer with him like a week, probably a week or two before he passed. He was somebody I knew. Shining is great. There you go. That was another movie that did a lot of reveal. So Kubrick was involved in a lot of his movies were revealing things. Yeah, but he made that look goofy. That's the only thing I got, and that's one thing I got against that movie, Doctor Strangelove. It made people that worry about fluoride look goofy. But he had he had actors thinking that they would be cast in one way. They didn't know how they were actually being cast until they saw the movie. Uh, Neither Slim Pickens or Peter Sellers would ever have anything to do with Kubrick again after they made Doctor Strangelove. Doctor Strangelove was a great movie. It was one of the top movies ever made. Take pictures and screenshots and record their eyes with your phones, cameras, 25-second playback speed, slow-mo. Okay. Can you detect AI that way? Henry Kissinger was Dr. Strangelove. Some people think it was Edward Teller. Wow. Uh, Peter Sellers was great. He was one of the best actors there ever was. He was a top-notch actor. Now, another movie I think highly of was the maybe The Forbidden Planet, because that's a really deep topic if you really think about it. And I've talked about that in some other videos to try to bring out what that really meant to us today, by how we can wipe ourselves out by democratizing technology of destruction. We've democratized destruction. We're given the power of wiping our planet out into many, many, many hands right now. And that's a huge risk to us. So we really need, that's why we got to get beyond all the hatred. So here it is. Here's my great reveal. Instead of the democratization of destruction, I'm working on the universal secession. It is the ultimate epitome of individualism. Imagine if you had the power to grow your own food, to make a living, to have all your resources inside your home. Man, you wouldn't need anything from anyone, basically. Well, so maybe some medical care. Yeah, it turns out the Russians built the doomsday machine. It was being talked about in Dr. Strangelove. And Dr. Strangelove is, as Dr. Strangelove character says, well, the whole purpose is to reveal it. Why didn't why didn't you reveal that you had this doomsday machine? Well, Russia in reality never revealed it. But anyway, back to the universal secession. Y'all may have noticed that some years ago, just stopped by checking out your channel. Well, okay, Crispy, I hope you enjoy it. We talk a lot about this Iran thing. Now I'm kind of on a different topic area here. So if you want to see what I said about Iran, catch it on the rewind. For anybody that's just joining us, we got 202 viewers in there, so a lot of you didn't see what I said earlier. So you want to go back and hit the rewind. We're just talking about globalists and whether they're trying to control everything. But we can take all their power away from them by democratizing your independence, the democratization of power to people instead of just destruction, which is being democratized. So just imagine universal secession where everybody in the world secedes from their governments, from these big corporations. I think the key to accomplishing that is my concept, the universal habitat. And I'm about to embark on building one right here. And one of the people that's going to help me is Miss Rainbow Food Rocks, who was in the channel earlier. I think she's probably gone to bed now. She's got a bunch of kids. But that's a big part of what that's really all about. It's my universal habitat is for universal secession. I think in reality, yes, individualism. It is the epitome of individualism. It was the epitome, in my humble opinion, of freedom. You're free when you don't have to rely on anyone else. Or, you got to rely on people a little bit, but, we can really dramatically cut that. That's one of the reasons I created switchwithgreg.com. So you wouldn't be promoting all these big companies when you spend your money at the big box store in Wally World. I'm with you, Greg. Hey, Bill. Bill Hess. Okay. Bill Hess. Whoosh, weird blurs. And the men's Adamus apples don't move and never take a breath. Yeah, their Space Odyssey was cool to watch back then. Yeah, I like that movie. Yeah, there's some other channels out here on YouTube where the guy just never stops talking. They don't take a breath. Yeah, haba, 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 or especially when they do, their hands just move one way and their heads, are doing this, but not this, Haba, 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 and just don't stop. Those channels are blowing out YouTube. They're getting huge views, lots of subscribers. And it's all AI. That guy, sometimes they look real. That's all AI. There's tons of AI content on here, and it's really competing with guys like me, real people. Travis Kavanaugh, how you doing? Yes, this is so important that we need to see it. We cannot see it with our eyes, cameras. Yeah, okay. Gator, learn to live within your means and what you create for yourself, and it helps. Yes. We're talking about good tip. Thanks. Some tools online can teach people how to spot them, but it's getting better. It's going to get where you can't. You can do AI clones of you walking around. I mean, they're not hard to make. Not at all. The AI clones are not hard to make. Democrats, amen, Mato. Amen. So, Crispy, how you liking my channel? Go back and catch some other videos. If you notice, my earliest videos are about gardening, growing your own food, raising worms. That's how I started this channel out. That was my original intent for it. You guys pull me into all this new stuff. Yeah, I can do some crazy stuff, indeed, which is okay to limits my mouth. Oh, how you doing, Rochelle? Hexafus, did you coin the phrase universal? Yes, that's my phrase. I coined that because I got the concept. I came up with it. And I've done several videos on that. If you go back a few years on my channel, I've done a number of videos that when I was first doing it, it was with hand drawings I made on some engineering pad, put in PowerPoint. And then I had a friend take that concept and put it in something that's kind of like Second Life. It's a virtual simulation. You can actually have an avatar and walk around, fly around within this world on Mars. And he put a version of my universal habitat on Mars. But I got an architect. I had a young lady who lives in Tunisia who actually did the architectural drawings for me of this universal habitat. And she made it look real pretty. And I presented that in some of my most recent videos on that. And Miss Rainbow Food Rocks, and I did a joint video talking about using one of these as an educational center. And that's what we're going to do when we build one here. It's going to be a proof of concept. And we're going to also, her kids will be involved in it so they can learn. So we're going to use it as an educational opportunity. I like chicken tractors. Those are a good idea. The thing about it around here is I'd have to make a chicken tracker that no predators could break into. There are mountain lions that roam this area, pumas, whatever you want to call them, cougars. I'm not talking about the two-legged ones that go after young men. There are also Mexican gray wolves in the area, and there's a lot of coyotes, bobcats. I had a friend, who had all her chickens and ducks wiped out by a bobcat that got in the pen. Disabled veteran. Well, God bless you. I'm a veteran, but I'm not disabled yet. But I've been a little bit desk bound too much to my day jobs and doing YouTube stuff. I've not been outside and moving around enough, so I'm having a hard time walking some distance. I'm losing some of my strength as I'm getting older here. So, Green Gregs for the win. Well, thank you. So I am coming up with this system. I'm going to prototype it. I almost wonder, I will cover that either on this channel. I might start a channel just for that. I'm still tempted to take all my news content and put it on Swivelhead News. But when I do a video on Swivelhead News, it only gets a quarter of the views I get over here. So, we need to change that. I need to move all my news over there. I've been putting my more political news on Swivelhead News, but I really ought to do all my news over there and then return this channel to worms and gardening, desert gardening. I'm doing some big stuff here. In the spring, it's going to be really interesting. And then building the universal habitat. Maybe a Colorado toad reserve to teach. Toad. What do you mean? Colorado toad reserve to teach. It's legal in Arizona. What are we talking about here? Fishing license to be able to bring them on as pets. I don't know. The only toads I've seen here were horny toads, which are actually lizards. I think I caught one the first time I came on this property. I actually caught a horny toad. Anybody knows Karl Marx wrote poems to the devil? Did he? I don't know. Wouldn't surprise me. I like the Frog Orchestra. We're talking about some AI stuff here, Frog Orchestra. I imagine now you can have some fun with AI. I like the Bigfoot videos. Bigfoot's joking, and there's some funny Bigfoot videos. Oh, your personal information, man. If you're online, everybody's stealing information. Colorado toad is TGE Bufo. I still don't know what you're talking about, Rochelle. Oh, some forest chickens. I hear the Viking chickens are tough. Grouse. Okay. Um, Interesting. I do have chickens, so we're going to do an egg count here in a minute. But I garden microgreens and have a 5-year backup of stored seeds. Perfect, Spunky Sugar. Perfect. I want to grow worms. Well, somebody asked me earlier if I was selling worms yet. I'm just getting my worm herd restarted here. I got to grow my herd before I sell any. And my original intent was just to sell things local because I had so much problems with labor in Alabama. Although I got about 3 candidate individuals here that might make it where I can go big with worms again. I mean, really big. I might go bigger than I ever did before. Game chickens are the strongest survivors. Oh, let me tell you a story about game chickens. When I was a kid, I got chickens. It was my first time I ever had chickens. And turned them loose. Within a week or two, all but half of them had been wiped out by local predators. But the ones that survived, nothing ever got them. And they were all games. Nothing ever took out another chicken after the first couple of weeks. The ones that survived the first couple of weeks, they were tough. They were survivors. They were all game chickens. And I discovered I didn't even have to feed them or do nothing. They just took care of themselves. I just let them go. They took care of themselves completely. And they always stayed around. And then I could go out in the pasture, but they stayed close to the house. They always come back to the house and roost in the trees we had. They'd stay around. And I never fed them at all. And some other people that went to rooster fights would come by some of my roosters. I never went to a rooster fight in my life, but I sent a lot of roosters to them. They'd come out and say, well, just climb the tree and get it, when they roost, and give me, $10 or whatever it was. So I was making money off my chickens, selling roosters. Well, I'd do anything. They're gorgeous frogs. We planted ginger, shampoo, sunchokes. Now, sunchokes are pretty good. I had a bunch of sunchokes in Alabama. It got so cold one winter, it killed them all. They all died out. The company had a data breach last year. Oh, they just informed me. Sorry to hear that. In regards to predators, have you ever thought about getting a mule? Well, actually, donkeys are really good to keep predators out. When I fence my place in, I might get a donkey then. Maybe some cows too. I got fenced this place. It's fenced on the south side. There's some fencing on the west side, and that's about it. I've got to totally fence this place in. But anyway, what was I going to tell you? I was talking about the chickens. Yeah, chickens have been survivors. So I had these game chickens, and my dad got tired of them. He says, "Greg, your chickens are pecking my garden." I was making some money on them without having to do. I didn't have to do. This was the best income I ever had because I didn't have to do anything, and I was making it wasn't much money, but I was making money without doing anything. Wasn't so good for the chickens, probably. But do you read? Do you read to Mrs.? He writes amazing books. I don't know what that is. So what what happened? My dad says, "Greg, I'll give you $100 to get rid of your chickens, all of them." I said, $100? We're talking in the 1970s. That'd be like $1,000 today. It's like, yeah, sure. I took my 22 rifle out and banged every one of them, except I had this hen. I took out this hen. She had 12 itty bitty, I mean, just hatched out little chicks run. They were so fresh that they were running around with mama through the pasture. And, they didn't even stick up over the grass. I mean, they were just little chicks, little chicks. And I took out the mom. I thought, okay, well, they won't survive. Every single swinging one of them survived and grew up to an adult. So somebody said game chickens are tough. That's why I brought this up. Yes, every single swinging little chick without its mama or any adult chickens around survived. They all became adults. And the funniest, craziest thing about it was they were all roosters. I had 12 roosters, no hens. 12 roosters. And those things fought each other like crazy. I never seen roosters fight like those did. Wow. I eventually sold them all, got rid of them to keep my dad happy. But, he understood. I mean, you wouldn't think that 12 little bitty chicks would survive. I just said, no problem worrying about it. I thought, well, maybe I should go out and wipe them all out. And I thought, nah, they won't survive. Boy, did they show me. I couldn't believe it. It's still hard to believe today. It really is. 12 little bitty chicks with no grown chicks in the wild, basically on the farm, running around the pasture. They all survive. They all come back to the house. They all out roosting in the same trees their mamas and daddies roosted in. They were beautiful too. Red, black, multicolored. Game chickens are beautiful. They are some really beautiful chickens and tough. Freezing all my counts. You can do that. You can also go to Equifax and all those little agencies like that and freeze where nobody can credit your name. That's a smart thing to do. Trying to set up first with Space Center for Worms. So I expect to be selling worms one day. I don't know if I'll sell them nationally again, but if I can get the right people lined up, yeah, I'll do it. And I think I may have found them. Terry Johnson, do you remember about the 1 hour after last night's bomb had started, a plane landed in Russia from Iran? Yeah, I thought that the vice president of Iran went there. Who was it? And now the vice president is actually running Iran, apparently. So who ran to Russia? That's a good question. Tom Har, how you doing, Tom Har? What time is it? It is nearly 2 o'clock in the morning. We're going to go here in a little bit. We've been on for 2 hours. All righty, guys, talking about chickens. Talking about chickens. We have come to the time. Hey, Billy the Kid, I'm watching the playback speed 2 times to catch up. All right. Talking about chickens. Time to guess. How many eggs did I get today? How many eggs did I harvest today? Well, they have some pretty feathers. That's right, Gator. How many eggs did I get today? Go. Guess. How many eggs did I get today? How many eggs did I get today? Keep guessing. Keep guessing. Whoa, there it is. Debbie, you got it. Debbie guessed it first. 8. I got 8 eggs today. Debbie Ross got it. Debbie, salute. You got the number of eggs right. We got eight eggs today. All right. Debbie got it first. Now hold off. No more guesses. But Debbie got that one. Next question. How many Easter eggs did I get today? You know, I got these Easter egg hens. They lay blue eggs. How many Easter eggs? Yeah, I got a lot today. How many Easter eggs today? I only got 3 yesterday, though. How many Easter eggs today? Don't get bantam chickens are mean. Well, we had bantams when I was a kid. We called them bannies. Yeah, those I got flogged by some bannies when I was a kid. Now, I can't have more Easter eggs than I got eggs. It's got to be a smaller number. All right, Debbie, you got it again. 2. 2 Easter eggs, 8 eggs total, and 2 Easter eggs. So here they are. These are the eggs I got today. And this one and this one are Easter eggs. Put some light on them here. I don't want to turn them too much. It'll fall out. I don't want to fall out cracking on my keyboard. Anyway, 8 eggs today. That's what I got 12 hens. We're still in winter time, but it's getting kind of warmer. So, yes, Debbie, you're the double winner tonight. Salute you again. Salute again. Yeah, I got some beautiful eggs. And I am planting a chicken. Well, I'm setting up a chicken garden. I plan to grow the feed. I feed my chickens, or at least a good bit of it. So I can chicken feed costs a lot of money. But I do also spend a lot of money buying the greens. I usually give them 2 packs of spinach a day. And those packs are like $1.80 nearly a pack. So I'm spending more money on just get the greens I'm feeding them than it would take to go to the store and buy eggs. These are far better eggs you get out of a store. No white ones, but I got 2. I do have a leghorn hen. She's obviously not laying because her eggs ought to be white. I think I've only got 1 white egg since I've had her here. So I got Dominicers. They lay brown eggs, and sometimes they got speckles on them. Sometimes they get a lot of speckles. They got big, heavy speckling sometimes. All right. Well, good night, Ed. Appreciate you being here. And let's see if we can get speckles on these now. We'll open them up and look at them. For speckles. You ever hear that song? No speckles today. You ever hear that song, The Great Speckled Bird? Roy Acuff on the Grand Ole Opry used to sing that song. It was a religious song. It was kind of like a hymn. Spunky sugar. So much it's possible. We got to know what kind. We got 212 people watching. Wow. So for all those that just joined, go back. Oh, I'm getting washed out with light in the video. Go back and go back and catch on the rewind where I'm talking about this Iranian thing and what's happened there. So Chinook preparedness. Are you in Alaska? Where are you at, Chinook? Something like you told me before. Something like Alaska. I think you're in maybe Alberta or somewhere. Chinook is a warm breeze. It's usually blowing in Alaska. It'd be a warm breeze coming up off the Gulf of Alaska and blowing through the mountains. You just got to go around the Alaska range to get very far, like maybe through the Elizabeth Pass. It'd be one place you can get a Chinook blowing through. Priampala. What a beautiful thought I am thinking concerning the great speckled bird. I remember that her name as recorded, yes, in the pages of God's holy word. Well, I didn't think anybody would know that song. The great speckled bird. Yes, yes, yes. When I was a kid, I listened to Grand Ole Opry a lot. I did. I played on radio. So I heard a lot of those old time country and bluegrass singers. Central Alberta foothills of the Rocky Mountains. Very good. There you go. I've probably been through there. I think Trutch Mountains in Alberta, is it not? That was an adventure driving in breakup season. I mean, you just had one rut to drive on when you got to the bottom because everything else was mud. And I was glad I had a travel trailer I was pulling, and I was thankful that I had a CB radio because all the trucks and everybody had CBs coordinated so there wouldn't be two vehicles going down into the bottom and that ruts at the same time. And we knew there were some cars that didn't have them. So we would all talk to each other across the mountain where those cars were. So we didn't want to if you got two vehicles going down in the bottom, if anybody had to pull over, you were going to be stuck because there were literally two ruts with big pile, yeah, this mud, like deep mud. And the ruts are fairly deep. But if you went out of those ruts, you would be stuck. Guaranteed. If tomorrow is Saturday, what day was yesterday? Well, I think we're in Sunday now. Well, it should have been Friday if you're on Saturday. No, if tomorrow was Saturday, it'd be Thursday. All right, gotcha. Morning at Circle. There's nothing quite like mud in Alberta. Now, Trutch Mountain was kind of a plateau type mountain, except it had a lot of this. I was driving down the Alcan, Alaska Highway, and I'll never forget Trutch Mountain. That's what we called it then. I think that was in Alberta. I'm pretty sure that was in Alberta. Yeah, I drove down the Alcan from Alaska. And then instead of turning east and heading straight back to Alabama, I turned west and wound up going down the Fraser River Canyon into Vancouver. That was an adventure. That was a beautiful place. And then I crossed the Canadian Rockies 3 times coming down from Alaska. This was in the year 1983. It was the first time I ever came to Arizona because I went down and saw the big valley in California with man, they had some beautiful fruit there back in the 80s, early 80s. Then I turned left, went through the Mojave Desert, and I kept driving. I got some big crack in the ground. Then I turned right and kept driving. I saw big cactuses with their arms sticking up. Then I turned left again and drove home. How's that for directions? There's some worms somewhere in them mountains. I wouldn't doubt it. Wouldn't doubt it. All that mud. Anyway, I'm only 5,700 feet, but I found them all over I guess that's what you meant, 5,700 with a little thing, all over the Pagosa. Are you in Pagosa? No, Rex Bear and Pagosa's you're in Pagosa, Colorado. Rex Bear's there, and so is Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch project. Carol, how you doing? Oh, happy birthday, Prime Paula. Today is my birthday. Somebody asked me how old I was. And I said, old as dirt. Oh, you got old as dirt in the house. That's funny. All righty. I was. Oh, you were in Pagosa Springs. Okay. Yeah. I need to get up there and visit Rex and see Diamond's homestead. I'm sure that's an adventure. I used to ship worms to Diamond. He bought worms from me 2 or 3 times. And I've been on both their YouTube channels. I hadn't been on Diamond's channel in quite a while. Have been on Rex's more recently. Rex wants to do another show soon. So let me do a refresh here. See how many people gave me a thumbs up. Because we've had a couple hundred in the house at various times. Got 198 thumbs up. Okay, if you've not hit the thumbs up, hit it on the way out. Because we probably had probably more than 400 people cycle through here. So I doubt if half the people gave me a thumbs up. So please hit the thumbs up if you haven't done it yet. Let's do this. Let's do it before we go. Let's do a prayer. We're family. New Days, who's been a really great mod for this channel for a long time. And I met her by shipping turmeric to her. I used to grow a lot of turmeric, and I shipped turmeric to her. She ordered turmeric from me years and years ago. So let's say a prayer for New Day. She's recovering from, she's not, I don't know if she's recovering yet. She's really in bad situation, pneumonia, and she's at home, not in the hospital. Near Pikes Peak. Okay. Anybody else need a prayer tonight? We'll do a quick prayer for New Days. Birthday was last month. I'm heading into the, I got one this month. I'll be double six. Anybody else need a prayer request? The world needs prayer. Amen, spring flower dart. Amen to that. We need to pray for the world. We need to pray for all the innocent people in this war zone. And we need to pray for our troops too. Well, practical neighbors in Spunky Sugar. Okay. Oh, that's cool. Be nice if somebody actually meets on there. So let's do that. Let's go and have a moment of silence or prayer. If you don't have faith, a moment of silence is going. I'm not here to tell you how to pray. This is not a religious channel. I'm not going to lead you in prayer. You can pray for yourself. Prayers for New Days. Hey, all the son, how you doing? Good to see you. So let's do it. Pray for our enemies. Well, yeah, actually, Jesus tells you to pray for your enemies. That's true. My neighbor has 4th-stage cancer. Oh, last days. Let's pray that she goes easy. Time, Paula. I know somebody else is in. Oh, yeah, we need to pray for Randy Bly because he's in hospice. He's not going to make it now. And, we pray for him because they gave him like a couple months to live. We did some serious praying for him, and he recovered seemingly completely and had a productive life for a few years after that. But it finally has caught him again, and it's not looking good. So let's pray for Randy Bly and his wife, Susan, who made this bottle right here, Blue Bottle Bunny Farm. Y'all remember them? She made that bottle. Randy used to be in the chat room a lot, but he is not doing well. We'll pray for Brian Paula's neighbor and the world. People in it, yes. Old as dirt. People need prayers. The world will take care of itself, with or without us. All right, folks. Let's just say a little prayer here. Amen. Just a youngster. There you go. Hey, in my heart, I am definitely witness for justice. How you doing? All righty, guys. So that's the prayers. We've done the egg count. We've covered the news. I read through the chat. We've been on here for over 2 hours. We need to go. So, yeah, I think about almost 2.5, getting close to it. Tom Murray, how you doing? So, well, Crispy, I hope you like my channel. That's how you popped in my live. Watch your video, 100% correct. So she's a new one watching my channel. Spring Flower, how you doing? Amen. I'm in total agreement with chats, prayers. All right, Davey. So I believe in the power of prayer. We've been praying on this channel for a long time now. We don't do it every night. We used to do it every night. And sometimes I had videos that were just a video to pray. We've done that. We've done that on this channel. Totally believe in the power of prayer. Pray and make it back to Arizona safely. Witness for justice. Did you used to live around St. John's? You might have lived close to where I'm at. So I am in Arizona, northeast Arizona. Well, I hope you make it back to Arizona safely. I hope you do. I hope you do. And maybe we can meet up after you get back here. Sholo in Tucson. Well, Sholo is pretty close to me. I go there usually once or twice every week. Sholo is pretty, that's where I get my packages sent. Although I've found that I might get them sent closer soon. Sholo in Tucson. Well, if you find your way back up to Sholo, holler at me. All right. You gotta do that. Holler at me if you get back towards Sholo. All righty, folks. Yeah, I've met some of the people that are, subscribers to this channel. Some people watch this channel have been good friends of mine. Some of them actually come out and help me build this tiny home. Maintain the armor of God and trek forward. Amen to that, Gator. All righty, good folks. So we've covered the waterfront tonight. Always make your life a prayer. Good advice, all the sun. Live your prayer. Everyone has a wonderful Sunday. Yes, it's Sunday. Thanks, Rick, for the information. All righty, guys. I try to bring y'all some real information. But the key thing, takeaway is that if we could find ourselves in a grid down situation. If that happens, you need to seriously have your preps in order. So get your preps in order now. Get your preps in order right now. Don't waste any time. Time to waste is over. It's time to move. I've heard a couple of chat. We got a super chat. Thank you, Mark Graham. I'm most appreciative. Get your preps in order. He says, ha ha. Get your preps in order. Don't waste any time. Furthermore, keep your eyes wide open, head on swivel. Things could be going down around us. Stay situationally aware. Just think about all the people who lost their lives sitting on a bus. Sit down and looks like the guy behind you sleeping. You get all involved in your phone. And suddenly you're just focused in on that. And then the guy comes up and attacks you. We've seen that. So stay situationally aware, especially when you're in a public place with strangers around you. Stranger danger. Remember that term. Stranger danger. Thank you for the compliment there, Mark Graham. And so we got another super chat. Randy Frazier. Well, salute to you too. Thank you. A lot of good super chats tonight. So a lot of them tonight and last night too. If you don't have a lot of room, grow food in containers. You can grow food in containers on a windowsill. If you live in a high rise and got a little stoop or patio balcony, you can grow them there. I know people grow stuff in their driveway, on your deck, porch, in a yard if you got a yard. It's good to grow your own food. Grow as much as possible. Go back and watch my older videos. Those are focused. Now, focus before I show you how to plant. I tell you how to build a garden bed. And a lot of people didn't like that. That's the most important thing to know. If you want to grow without having to go to the store, and if the grid's down, you're not going to be going to the store, so you need to learn how to grow without going to the store. My oldest videos cover that. So go back and catch those videos. Anyway, if you can definitely do it. Don't forget the microgreens. You can grow microgreens in your house. I got a lot of videos. I got a whole playlist, I think, on microgreens. I started doing these videos where I was doing a day-by-day grow of what you did every day in a grow. Oh, I had people getting mad over that. I had people unsubscribe and didn't like that. But those videos wound up having a lot of views on them and after the fact. So, some people want to gripe and grouse about things, unsubscribe. Those are things that are good to know. By the way, broccoli microgreens are some of the most nutritious things you can eat. Broccoli has sulforaphane. Sulforaphane forms the glutathiones, which is great for your immune system. They got tons of benefits for your organs and your health beyond just your immune system. But one of the things to know is microgreens, broccoli microgreens have per volume 40 times more sulforaphane than grown broccoli. You can't get enough of it by eating full broccoli heads. The microgreens, you can get it there. That's the best place to go for sulforaphane. Now, here's the other thing to know. Sulforaphane will get the microplastics in your tissues to come out. But to get it out of your system entirely, you need to go outside and work out, work up a good sweat or get in the sweat lodge because you sweat it out. That's how to get rid of them. Sweat it out. Charles says, oh, great, that's true. My friend in Idaho grows his in an alley. You can do that. Or there's community gardens in a lot of places. I just went to a meeting last Friday, just this week, a few nights ago, with Rainbow Food Rocks. And down in Taylor, they are planning to do a community garden. Peace out. Much love. God bless. I've only gotten 3 hours since the war kicked off. Oh, Lord. I only slept 3 hours last night. And I was a zombie for good part of this day. I wanted to do a video earlier. I just couldn't get at it. All righty, folks. We have gone real long here. We need to go. And my coffee club members won't even watch the video. It'd be so long to go, I got to go to church. But for anybody that's in the coffee club, they ought to know I covered the news in the first part. So if they're just wanting the news, they can get it there. Yeah, I got to hit the hay too. I got to get up tomorrow too. So salute to and thank you all super chatters. You made it a super night tonight in that regard. That's what keeps us strong. Because when I'm on live, I haven't the Zoom app. I really can't set it up where I'm getting ads. And so I'm not getting ad revenue. For all this time we've been there, there's not no ad revenue. So the super chats really make a difference. They help when I'm doing a live session. And I'm not earning much on ads either. It's just like peanuts. Seriously. YouTube is not as good as it used to be. Nowhere near as good. So I really appreciate that. So again, salute to you super chatters, salute to you mods for keeping the channel clean. And I just want to thank everyone for watching. We're family here. That's why we stop and pray sometimes. We're family here. As Zen Jamin always observes when it comes to his first comments, always about our family here. So I appreciate that. Yeah, good night and sweet dreams to everyone. So I just want to say to one and all, have a good night. Good night to one and all. Good day wherever you are. And in memory of Granny Lana, who always loved it when I'd say this, because I am Santa Claus. You see all those? Those are Santa figures. What's on that blue bottle? Rocket Santa. So, ho, ho, ho. And Greg out.